Okay, welcome to the Winner Circle. This is our little interview session where we go ahead and we interview people from our community who have either won scholarships or have been influenced by us in some way. So I'm very happy to announce like a very special member of our community, Sabrina Lodise. She is an extremely hard worker, and I'm so glad to even know her, honestly. She seems like a very headstrong person like me and very good head on her shoulders. So I love that. And I'm really excited to interview her today so she can tell us all about how amazing she is. So let's go ahead and get started without further ado. Sabrina, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking out the time. You're busy, you're going to college for the first time. Everything is like happening really fast. So, to slow down and take this few minutes to talk to me, I really appreciate it. So, I guess first off, let's just familiarize ourselves with Sabrina. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell us your goals, future academic goals, why you're doing college, all that good stuff.
Okay, hi. I'm Sabrina. I'm going to Indiana University, which is the university from my state, and I'm going to study nursing. I plan on becoming a pediatric nurse. I love working with children. I love like the sciencey side of nursing as well. As for like my future goals, um, I really want to become a nurse practitioner so I can like prescribe things and just have like a higher level than just the basic degree. Um, as for like my school year, I really want to become like a research lab assistant because there's so many cool opportunities at my school and you can also get paid. And that's like another good way to like get money to help with your paying for your education. Um, yeah, that's good. I think.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, no, that's great. Thank you for explaining all of that. So, yeah, so your journey is a little different, right? Because high school senior, you had a lot of different avenues in which you were able to fund your education, either through your school or other places. So, tell us a little more about the scholarships and what it covers, things like that. Kind of give us a little picture of all the places you were able to get some funding to go to the University of Indiana.
Yeah, so a lot of my scholarships came from my school, either like my like Indiana University or my high school. And something that really helped with that was like my good grades and my academics. I mean, my academics and my extracurriculars. So I did marching band. I was a president of a couple clubs, such as like we call it the Cultural Explorers Club. And then, sorry, losing track. um,
Oh,
yeah. So what I'd recommend is trying to apply to your college or university like right by the November 1st deadline because a lot of the scholarship portals open up as soon as like you turn it in. And I know at least for like my school, um you had to like turn it in like a another form before you even got to like more specific scholarships. So I know one of my friends, like she was like kind of procrastinating on it, so she turned in just like it was just called the general application scholarship form. And then she realized that, oh, like when she turned it in, like more opportunities came up. So I would just really recommend just like getting on top of it and like starting um honestly as soon as you can, but like also like giving yourself time to make sure that it's thorough and represents yourself in like the best way possible. And as for other scholarship application processes, just look up everything that's like niche to you, like whether that be like your culture, like ethnicity, race, like there's so many. I know I got one, it was like the Hispanic something scholarship. I forgot the name. Oh god, that's bad. But just keep on looking, and even if it's like says, oh, this one's like only for like freshmen in college or whatever, you have to be this certain year, just like save it in like a Google Drive. Like I do have some of them. I have to look back at them. But Yeah, and then the Scholarship Collective has helped me like find different resources. Like, I know you taught me about like the Johnson and Johnson nursing one, and then um, now that I'm in a like an official nursing degree program, I can apply for that as well. Um,
So, no, that's awesome. So, so like in terms of your just going back to your application process, in terms of your, you applied to your university and all that stuff, but then you had separate application for the scholarships at your school themselves. Is that right, or did I hear that wrong?
yeah, that's right. So, you would apply to university, like mine was through Common App, and then sometimes they like give you a scholarship like right away. Like I got one, it was like we called it like the Provost scholarship. It was just like merit, like based off my grades. But then to like get more scholarships, I had to apply through their scholarship website. Um, and then like I would fill out all the like little essays, and then it went even more in depth if I wanted to find more specific scholarships. So I know it's a little different for every school, but I know that a lot of them are like in the same way. If they see that you're like on top of things and you're active, like a lot of opportunities, um, like it's good to like be on top of things and like find those different resources as soon as you can.
Yeah, no, that's really helpful. I think a lot of students kind of wait in terms of like the college application process. Maybe they'll submit the Common App, but then they don't do any other research into the different scholarships that are available for their schools. So that's an extremely helpful tip. Thank you for because a lot of students realize that there are separate application processes and that may be different for each school they're applying to. So if you are applying to 10 schools, like you want to get off the best chance at getting the best aid from every school, so you want to make sure you're following that process for each school. So that's really helpful. Thank you for bringing that up. And also your common application, right? So your common application, do you feel like you're when did you start your process of writing your essays for your common application, and like what did that process look like, in terms of like mapping it out for for the question and which questions you wanted to answer and stuff?
Yeah, so I started the summer of my senior year because I knew that during the fall I would get really busy. Um, so then what I did is I looked at all like the question prompts and I kind of like brainstormed like what I would do for each one. So like something that like I learned at my school would just be like give yourself like 5 minutes and write whatever comes to mind. Like don't like a lot of the times like when you stop and think for the right things like you hit a block, so just it's kind of like free flow thoughts. And then um with that I like picked the one that I really liked. I talked about my experience in marching band, and then I kind of like tied that into like my love for music, and then I'm also like a pretty emotional person, and so I tied it into like my emotions, and then obviously like nursing as well. So I feel like it should be like something that you're like really passionate about, and then tie it back to yourself, because at the end of the day like people want to learn about you, not like everything, like I don't know how to word it. They want to learn about you, not necessarily like 3.0 GPA, blah blah blah. Because like you also like already filled that out in another section, so it's just really your chance to like be vulnerable and talk about what you really care and like why you're going to college.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some very good advice, because I do think that students get caught up in, this is the things that I do, and this, look at how great I am. Here are all my extracurriculars, and I'm so special, rather than saying, I'm gonna tell the admissions committee, like, who will they be admitting to this university? Who am I? What are my goals? What do I want to do? Versus, this is what I have done and why you should let me in, and really focusing on you as a person. And like you said, leaning into your emotional side, leaning into your story, right? Because the reason that it makes you emotional is because it's a part of your story and it's a part of your process of going to college and one day becoming, for you, a nurse practitioner, for others a doctor. So it's one of those things where I think a lot of students get caught up in, trying to look and sound impressive rather than just being themselves. So that is some really great advice, Rena. I really appreciate it. And so in terms of so you've been a part of the community for the scholarship collective, you've been a part of the newsletter for a while. And you were even a part of the Scholarship Essay Academy for a little while, which was great to have you there. I feel like you were a very good contributor when you were in the sessions and stuff. So how do you feel like any aspect of, being a part of this community has helped you, in your journey to winning scholarships and things like that?
Yeah. Well, it's really good to have moral support, especially like from a student-based um what's it called, like, resource, because like, like, it's different when your parents are telling you, oh, keep on doing the scholarship, keep on writing this, find this and this. But like when you're with like your peers, like you feel more motivated because it feels like less like a chore and more like, yeah, let's do this, like we're gonna win money. And I really liked all the little like not events, but like I remember I did like the vision board competition. And even though if I didn't win, it was still really nice to have like that visual representation of like my future and my goals. And I actually reused it for I took a summer class through my university, and it was like, oh, like make a vision board. I'm like, oh, okay, I already have that. So useful, it was useful. And then, as for, like, the essay writing, it was good to see, like, how other people tackle the different prompts, 'cause, obviously, like, there's only so many Common App prompts, um, and then it just, like, kinda gives you, like, ideas on, like, "Oh, that's a really good way of thinking about this. I can apply it to my experience with this," or, like it's always just good to get like more opinions about your essays, especially from people who don't know you, because the admissions people, they don't know you at all. So it's like different than saying having like your parents or like a teacher, which is like both good, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that like a total stranger is going to be looking at your essay and trying to um, see your character and decide if you're a right fit for the college.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a good point about, I tell people this all the time, you really need to, when you're doing your common applications, college essays, when you're doing scholarship essays, it doesn't really matter what kind of essay you're doing. 9 times out of 10, they're only reading it once. So that means that there should not be any words wasted, any opportunities to expand on the important stuff about you. I think that a lot of people, they try to get too cute with the way that they're explaining things, or trying to sound really smart versus just telling the story of themselves in like the most natural way possible. Obviously, still writing good grammar and things like that, but definitely I think people get caught up in you know the aspect of like, oh, this needs to be so perfect and unique. No, 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 you are perfect and unique already. You just need to choose that aspect of what it is that is extraordinary in your ordinary life. And it doesn't need to be extraordinary to the missions committee. It needs to be extraordinary to you. Because if it's extraordinary to you, you're going to be able to write about it in an extraordinary way. So that is something we definitely hammer home, both in the Scholarship Essay Academy and all over our resources as well. So definitely some great advice that you gave there. Thank you. That's like a big part of what we try to do, is to bring you guys together so you can see what other people are doing and be inspired by them, rather than kind of just like, oh wow, like I'm never going to be able to do this or that. Like, no, you see there are other people who are just like you doing the same thing. So really glad that you got something out of that, which is great. And yeah, we have challenges, the vision board challenge. We're doing that again in for we're going to be doing it every new year. So in January we'll have the vision board challenge again. But yeah, we have challenges every month in the Scholarship Essay Academy to kind of get you guys thinking about yourselves, your future, or just a funny thing to do or a fun thing to do just to pass the time. So yeah, definitely we try to do our best with keeping you guys engaged as much as possible. So all right, awesome. So What so to move on to the next part, what advice do you have for, other students who may like feel like either giving up on scholarships or they're overwhelmed by the whole college process? Like what advice would you have for them and get them to like be more encouraged and kind of push themselves a little bit?
Yeah, so definitely like finding the supportive people around you to encourage you, just like the scholarship collective, that was really helpful. Or another thing is like kind of look at more niche scholarships, because a lot of like the big ones, like you might feel discouraged because like there's so many people, let's say like you're applying to all these big ones and you're not getting many things back. um and but sorry, but also know like at the same time, like just because like you might think that you like wasted your time writing these essays and you got nothing, you really didn't, because you can probably reuse those same essay questions for more scholarships. So at like a certain point, it's like your time investment like goes back, and then it'll be like so much easier just to apply to pretty much any scholarship because they use a lot of the same like questions or verbiage. And then I'd really like look into like the ones that, like if you're at high school, like talk to your counselor, because sometimes there are scholarships like that like not many people know about, and like, or sometimes your counselor has to pick someone, and if you show that insensitive like that, like you, oh, I really want to like go to this school, or I really want to get this money. Like I know there was a specific scholarship where my high school, they would pick like top two committed students to my university, like in the one that I'm going to, Indiana University. And I wouldn't have found out if I didn't go to my counselor and say like, hey, like this is one of my top choices, like can you help me find scholarships for this? So and then I ended up like getting it because like they got to choose. So you just really just like get out there, like go talk to the admissions officer, like go email like the scholarship people at the school you want to go to, because they're all there to help you. And there's so many resources like even on the campus now that I know like when you're at home and you're not at college, it sometimes it feels like kind of isolating. But even if you don't get all these scholarships before you get to college, like there's so many more opportunities on campus. Like I know at least right now for my school in September, they're like rolling out more scholarships again. I just have to apply. And then they also have like what we call like work-based study. So we can like get different jobs on campus. Like you can be like a teacher assistant, or what I want to do is like work in a research lab, and then I'll eventually like get paid for it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Um and yeah, just like it's okay to like hit a low point, because I feel like with every activity it's kind of like that, but just know that like at the end of the day, like you're here to help pay for your education, and there's so many resources out there and people who want to help you too.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's exactly right, Sabrina. You really need to take a holistic view of, the way that you're, applying to scholarships, because you could always I always say this. I always say this. This is scholarship selection is the absolute key. Which one you're gonna have a better chance at? The one that is, a scholarship, in your case a scholarship for, women who are interested in nursing, and are, located in Indiana, or are you going to have a better chance at winning the one that's, open to all high school seniors, and that's the only criteria, right? So it's really important to kind of like be a little bit selective about the scholarships you choose to apply to, because yeah, you can apply to volume and maybe you'll get lucky, but the time where I, especially in college, won most of my scholarship is when I actually applied to less of them, but more targeted and more focused. Did it take time and more effort to find those ones that I really felt like I had a great chance of winning? Yes, of course. But that's the trade off. You spend less time doing applications and more time researching for the actual opportunities that are the best ones for you. And you are, you about using village to kind of do that, and not just focusing on yourself and going online, but also talking. There are things you will never know about. You will never know about without your counselors or your teachers or your professors. I had a similar situation in college where I literally just mentioned to like my professor, like I was looking for scholarships, and there was a specific scholarship that literally she had won as a student 20 years ago when she went to the University of Kentucky. And she said, "Hey, I want to nominate you for this scholarship. I won it 20 years ago at my school, and they're giving out ones for our school." So I was like, "Oh, great!" I was like, "Absolutely!" And that was like that was a $2,000 scholarship I would not have known about or gotten without her input. And and at that point, it was like, how would she have known to nominate me if I didn't speak up? So I think it's really important what you're saying. It's like, make sure people are aware of you, because you never know who's going to be thinking about you. Right place, right time. And putting yourself out there, and making sure you make those connections, and be comfortable making those things. Don't see it as like, oh my god, this girl is freaking asking me about scholarship money. Like, no, like, oh, this girl, it's more like this girl needs help. If I have some kind of way I can help her through my own activities, as a professor or as a guidance counselor, I'm going to do it. So that's really great. I really appreciate that, Sabrina. I think a lot of students get scared almost to like ask, or fear that they're not going to be responded to or whatever. Do it anyway. Even if you don't get responded to, do it anyway. Obviously in person is great too, because you can actually physically, it's hard for somebody to ignore you when they're right in your face, right? Versus just sending an email. So that was awesome. Thanks, Sabrina. So um last but not least, do you have anything I didn't ask about that you want to mention? It literally can be anything.
Hmm. Well, other things I can like really think about would just be more like the college application process in general, like for people who are still maybe like freshman, sophomore, junior, would be to like just make sure you get good connections with your teachers, because these are the people that you're gonna go to when you need to write when they need to write the recommendation letters, or like if you do like sports, like your coach, or in my case like my band director. Just it's also good in general like to always have like these people who can like help you, like give advice, or um like help you in class. It's just really good to have those connections with your teachers. uh and like you never know how they'll help you, and if they like see that like you're always passionate about like, let's say like going to office hours, or um trying to work hard in school, like that passion will reflect in their letters, and event maybe even like some scholarships, because you never know who is like on like the little committee for your school to nominate you. And so yeah, that's all I can really think about.
Yeah, forming connections. No, that's absolutely right. Forming connections is so critical, honestly. Like, and honestly, people think they need something to actually, they need something to actually go to office hours. I used to go to office hours just cause. Like, sometimes I didn't even need help with anything. I would literally just go. Not a lot of times no one's there, so you just end up getting to know the teacher or getting to know the professor, and like that's never a bad thing, like when you're making connections and stuff, it's really just about building relationships. It's like you're not just building relationships to get something out of someone, right? You're building a relationship because that's the human connection thing to do. Like, right? These are going to be
Yeah.
people, I still hear from my professors and stuff. You know what I mean? These are just people at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like people forget that like these teachers are people too. Like they like talking to you, like they like know about your day. And like at the end of the day, like those like human like those really good bonds, like they keep you more motivated to work hard in school, or um it just helps you all around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for putting a light onto that, because I do think a lot of students don't think they need to they don't need to worry about that until they're looking for a job or something, versus just building the connection for genuine purposes. So thank you for that. It's been an incredible experience talking with you and getting to know a little bit more about you. You did a really great job. Thank you for sharing. I think that overall, you know, you're a light, and I think that you're going to do whatever you decide to do in life. You're going to do really well at it. So I'm very glad that we had the opportunity to know each other, get to work with you in the Scholarship Essay Academy, Scholarship Collective. Like, I do feel very proud to meet you and know you. So, thank you for joining me today on the winner circle. And you are probably going to be a winner for life. So you'll be you'll be here for a long time, I'm sure. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next episode where we will talk to even more scholars who do great things, just like Rita.
Okay, thank you.